Hey, sixth graders, we're on to lesson 4.6.1, which is all about unit rates. Before we jump right into some examples, we're going to talk about what a unit rate is. So up on top, there's one sentence here. Right? It says a unit, make sure you copy down that pink word, a unit rate relates two different units of measure for only one thing. Make sure you write down the number 1. We're going to be told about multiple somethings, and we're going to have to find out how much for just one of something. That sounds complicated. Let's go into an example so maybe it makes a little more sense to you. In our first example, it says there are 16 cookies for 4 kids. What is the unit rate of cookies per kid? I really want to look at these two blue words. I notice first it says 4 kids, then at the end it says per kid. Do you notice how, get rid of that, where did they go? Right? How it said kids, but now it just says kid? That means we want one kid. Thinking about the kids one at a time. How much does the first kid get? Then the next kid, then the next kid. So we're gonna draw a picture. Here are my 4 happy children. Woohoo! You should draw 4 happy children. They are going to equally split 16 cookies. So my cookies, let's call them Oreo cookies. And I'll make this a little bit bigger here. And we'll split 16. 1, 2, 3, 4. Right now they all have 1 cookie. 5, 6, 7, 8. They all have 2 cookies. 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. There we go. The unit rate of cookies per one kid, well, this one kid right here has 4 cookies. And this one kid right there has 4 cookies. And this one kid right there has 4 cookies. And you guessed it, this one kid right there has 4 cookies. That's what makes this a unit rate. Looking at them one at a time, each kid has 4 cookies. We're going to fill this in the bottom, right here where the words are. The unit rate is 4 cookies per, and who has the cookies? Each kid. Per means one at a time because there's no S there. All right, so we can draw a picture for these problems, or we could write it as equivalent fractions. When we write them as equivalent fractions, we need to use labels. So here's my fraction, and I want you to really recognize that this is a ratio because this bottom number here is not a total, right? It's not 16 plus 4 makes 20, right? So this is a ratio that's set up as a fraction, and one of the reasons why we like setting up ratios as fractions is because we can find equivalent ratios by writing as fractions. For example, I have 16 cookies for 4 kids. That is equal to, we only wanted to know 1 kid, so I'm going to write 1 kid. And notice that kids are on the bottom. Kids on the bottom, kid on the bottom. And then I have to think, well, how do I get from 4 kids to 1 kid? That's divide by 4. So do the same thing on the top and do 16 divided by 4. I know what that is, but if you don't, grab a calculator. 16 divided by 4 is 4. Get rid of that, which means it's 4 cookies. And that's the exact same answer that we got in our picture, 4 cookies. And that's the same answer that we had down here in our sentence. Ms. Toivola, why would I want to use the fractions? Because sometimes the pictures are just too hard to draw. Let's do another example. In the next problem, it says 6 pens cost $12. What is the unit rate per pen? There's pen. Over at the beginning, it was pens, which means this time we're solving for 1 pen. All right, I'm going to draw out my picture. Here are 6 pens. Altogether, they cost $12. I will add some dollar signs to show my dollars. Dollar number 1, dollar number 2, dollar number 3. I hope you're copying. Dollar number 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Great. It looks like they're all equal. So now I'm going to circle just 1 pen. Here's my 1 pen. It has $2 with it. Here's another 1 pen with $2. Here's another 1 pen with $2. 1 pen, $2, 1 pen, $2, 1 pen, $2. Let's look right at the equivalent fraction version. We're solving for 1 pen, so I'm going to put my pens on the bottom of my fraction. We started with 6 pens, and I put their cost right on top. So this is a ratio of cost to quantity or amount of pens. But we're not solving for 6 pens, we're solving for 1 pen. So on the bottom of the second fraction, notice that pen and pens are both on the bottom. On the bottom of the second fraction, I'm going to write 1 pen, and then I'm going from 6 pens to 1 pen, so that's splitting into 6 groups. So I'm going to split the cost into 6 groups. And I know this answer, but if you don't, 12 divided by 6 is 2. So that means each pen is $2, which is exactly what our picture shows. Let's write that in the sentence. Oh, I have dollars too many times. The unit rate is $2, so I don't really need this one. $2 per 1 pen. But we don't have to write 1. We can just write pen because there's no S that means 1. But if you want to, it wouldn't technically be wrong to write 1 pen. All right, last example with you. 60 children's books are read in 8 hours. I don't really want to draw 60 or something. Oh my goodness. What is the unit rate of books per hour? All right, so there's our per, and I notice that it says hour, but at the beginning in the first sentence it said 8 hours. So that means we're going from 8 hours to just 1 hour. I'm going to write a 1 there as well. This time I'm not going to start with the picture. This time I'm going to start with the equivalent fraction version. I want to get to 1 hour. That means I'm going to write hours on the bottom of my first fraction. In 8 hours, 60 books are read. Please make sure you copy that down. I want to know, what if we just had 1 hour? How many books could we expect to be read? That means that 1 hour goes on the bottom of my second fraction, and I'm going to divide across. So we have 8 divided by 8 and 60 divided by 8. This is not a basic fact. 60 divided by 8 is 7.5 or 7 1/2. I'm going to write it as 7 1/2 books. All right, so here's what this means. I should, in my picture, put 7 1/2 books with each of my hours. Here are my hours. You can just draw circles if you want to with like the letter H in front. It should take 7 1/2 books for each one of these circles. Let's give it a shot. Make this a little bit bigger. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 40, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 50, 1, 2, this is taking forever, 3, 4, 5, 6. I'm at 56, which means I only have 4 left, right? So if I only have 4 left, I'm going to draw it this way. Here's a circle, and here's a circle. The other half, here's a circle, and here's the other half of the circle. Here's a circle, here's the other half of the circle. Here's a circle, here's the other half of the circle. All right, so now I can take that half and put it here, and this half and put it here, and this, whoa, unfortunate, right? All right, so now I have 57, 57 1/2, 58, 58 1/2, 59, 59 1/2, 60. All right, that was a lot harder picture to draw, but let's take a look at this. Here's my first hour. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 1/2. There's 7 1/2 books right here. Let's look at the next hour. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 1/2 right there. All right, this works for just the next one. I think we can call it good enough. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 1/2. Each hour has 7 1/2 books. So the unit rate, when we look 1 hour at a time, 7 1/2 books get read per 1 hour or just hour. How do you know what to do? Well, honestly, the picture version and the equivalent fraction version are going to work for every problem, every single one. It probably makes sense to do one over the other. I really like the equivalent fraction version for every problem, but the very first one didn't take me very long to draw a picture, right? The important thing is that you are getting the correct answers, and on your practice page, I'd like you to try both the picture page and the equivalent fraction.